Hey everybody, welcome to another wonderful, exciting session of Star Wars Heart of the Empire, brought to you by the Tides of Change role-playing game club. If you've never checked out the Star Wars Tides of Change club, I would highly suggest you go onto Facebook and check them out. It's a lot of fun where the emphasis is on great heavy role-playing with the players being able to dictate which way the story goes with what is called tide changes, which you'll probably find out at some point in the middle of the session. I am Mike, and I am, of course, joined today by four incredible players that I'm very excited to play with. We've had a lot of great times so far, and I am truly honored to be able to play with them. And without further ado, I will go ahead and get them to introduce themselves and plug all of their stuff. So first on the far left, we have Varric. Varric, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Dennis, and I am playing Varric Marr, aka the Prime, born and bred assassin who is thrown in with these rebels trying to find his way through the universe.
Right on. And next, beside him, we have Kojamal. If you could please introduce yourself, your character, and plug.
Hi everyone, I'm Dev from the YouTube channel With the Dice. There's a lot of other good Star Wars games there too, and also part of the Tides of Change group. And I missed the last session, but I'm really happy to be back and ready for action. I'll be playing Kojamal Hajima. He's a Weequay saboteur who has yet to blow anything up except Darth Vader. So let's see if he can rectify that.
Yes, there was that time that you kind of threw a bomb at Darth Vader. And you did a great job, too.
Yeah,
kind of.
Almost got him.
Almost. But of course, then we would have had to contact Lucas, and you had to reshoot all the films anyway. It just would have been a mess.
Yeah, the Force was with him. What could I do?
I know. All right, so next up beside him, we have Gabe. Gabe, introduce yourself and Mercer's character.
Mercer's character, gotta love it. Hey everybody, this is Gabe B. I'll be playing Mercer for you guys again, and let's see if I can get his decisions making done right for you guys today. Great to have Devin back and everybody else who basically was with us last time, so let's have some fun and pass some time away.
Right on, right on. And then last but not least, it's the internet's favorite Quarren. Man, the myth, the legend, Celine Naval. Kindly plug yourself and your channel.
Hi, this is John from Red Dice Diaries, and I'll be playing Celine Naval, the Quarren pilot of this group of miscreants during the game. Can't wait to get into it.
Miscreants? I don't know. Well, yeah, you're probably right. That's pretty accurate, actually.
The tentacles don't lie, man.
yeah. No, I can't deny that at all. All right. Well, now that we're all settled in, ready to go, I say we start Session 5, The Heart of the Empire. As the stars begin to align themselves and pull back from their beautiful, intricate lines jumping out of hyperspace, you begin to see the Thyfera system a bit better. The planet is a shining green marble floating in space near a very large yellow star. It is very peaceful. There are no ships that far nearby, a few freighters traveling to and from Thyfera, but for the most part, you seem like you are safe. And although everything is peaceful outside, inside, a lot of things have happened over the past 2, maybe even 5 or 6 hours. You have escaped from an Imperial-controlled facility. You've escaped the Imperium twice now. You've succeeded in destroying a very expensive and very dangerous prototype ship and sent it to the bottom of the ocean. You have also discovered that this clandestine unit, Unit 88, seems to be almost able to control rebel leaders through the device that is now inside Mercer. A lot of things have happened. Some things that you can be proud of, other things maybe not so much. As you sit there in space, just coming out of hyperspace, I'd like to know what the four of you are thinking, and perhaps what even the four of you will be doing.
Okay, I'll mostly be sort of monitoring the ship's controls and paying most attention to the piloting, sort of checking the scanners, etc. Just trying to keep a wary eye out in case we do run into any trouble, so that I can try and let everyone know as quickly as I can. I'll be giving them regular updates on the comms system.
Kojima will be just sitting off to the side somewhere out of the way of any hustle and bustle that's going on the ship, and he's got some bandages wrapped around him from the blaster shots and blaster burns that he got during the escape, and he's sitting there pretty quiet, and he's got a 1,000-yard stare, just staring at the bulkhead of the ship, and he's fingering a leather thong that's around his neck, and it has a pouch, and he's holding the pouch and holding it in his hand and thinking about although the mission was a success as far as the basic parameters are concerned, he personally doesn't feel it was a success for him at all. His role is the saboteur, and because of his failure at the docks, he did not fulfill his part of the mission and ended up getting arrested. And the only consolation he can take from it is he helped to get Flying Fish out, which was a side mission for them. But as far as the sabotage of the prototype device, he feels that he let the team down a little bit, and he's just thinking about what he can do next time to try to step up his part and how he can overcome that kind of situation in the future.
And panning from Kajmal basically lifts up, and you see it going down the corridor. Go into an engine room. Off to the side of the right, on top of a work desk, you see the remnants of two different stormtrooper outfit-looking armor. Even the helmet on one of them with an ear. That's definitely prominent, not from any race from what's on the ship now. And off the side, you kind of hear just mumbling to himself, very incoherent, and fiddling with wrenches and with screwdrivers of different sorts inside the engine, kind of just messing around, replacing, saying check, looks good, looking at places that needs to be, and you can just see that he's fixing things that doesn't need to be fixed because it's just taking time away. It's putting his brain somewhere else, and he'll take something out, look at it, kind of clean it up a little bit, and put it right back in as if it was like needed. And nothing's being said, but you can see in his face like the whole, how did I get here? How did this thing get in me? I hope Spec can find a way to get it out of me or find out how to control it. Will we find Agent 52? All these questions that you, as as a visual person or as someone watching is like asking these questions, it's kind of going through his head. Maybe he'll find the answer. What is it that I'm looking for? Am I even in the right place? Am I an agent? All these double questions. And then you'll look up as basically a red light from over the doorway lights up in a nice little rhythmic attention call.
Varric would be in some place of quiet as well. He would be sitting in quiet contemplation, meditating on the recent events, although his thoughts turn more to what lies ahead than behind, as what is done is done. They survived, and to him that is what matters, and now what lays ahead is where his focus turns.
So as you are sitting there contemplating what has happened and the journey that has led you to this beautiful green planet, this lush plant-strewn planet, your thoughts also turn to the communication device that was given to you and what you can possibly do now that you seem to have a link or a thread to the rebellion.
I heard you, but what did you?
We're thinking about the rebel communication device.
Yeah. So you're sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
You were given the rebel device that has the like passcodes for the communications net, and you have the ability now to contact rebel high command.
So sometime later, after their periods of reflection and some time's passed since then, Kojamal will have come over to the device, and he'll just kind of hold it in his hand and look to the others and say, "Has anyone tried to use this thing yet? Have we received anything from it? Sent any messages? What good is this thing right now?"
Try to use what?
This encrypted rebel device. How else are we going to contact the fleet? We need to get this thing working.
Do you deem it wise to contact them right away? Especially after the news we found out that no one's safe. And especially if they can get to me, would it be safe to use it with my knowledge? Wouldn't you guys rather use it without me knowing?
Well, if no one's safe, then it makes no difference whether we use it or not. The agents are placed where they are. They can be accessed wherever they are, but at least the rebellion leadership needs to find out somehow what's going on, what we know. They need to at least be aware of the threat.
That's true. We need to at least warn them of what's going on. Even if we don't establish a two-way communication, if we can send them a message at least they'll be slightly warned.
Try to arrange some kind of contact point liaison rendezvous. Doesn't have to be with the entire fleet itself.
I think that's a very good idea. That way we're not putting the entire fleet in danger, but at least we can get the information we need to them.
Meet up with another cell or something.
Sounds like a plan.
So who knows how to use this thing? I'm just a grunt. I don't know how to use this.
The device itself seems relatively straightforward. You basically take the object, you attach it to your own communications device through a port. Then you use the ship's communicator to be able to send a message out, and then you will basically open up a two-way communication. Like it's something standard that you know you have seen before, either through the army, through smuggling, spycraft. These items are not extremely common. The Empire has definitely tightened a grip on these type of devices, but they are still prevalent and quite prevalent in the rebellion.
Okay, well, if you bring it up here to the cockpit, I can try plugging it into the ship's comm system, see if I can send a signal out that way. Hopefully, with the power boost from the ship, we should get a wider range on the thing.
Roger that. So I'll take it up to the cockpit and hand it to Celine.
Hearing that, I'll actually put registers on the back in the engine room to actually give a little bit more power toward the front to help with the boosting of the signal.
Okay, and I like that. But for that, why don't you make me a 2 difficulty mechanics check?
Okay. What is my mechanics check?
Do you tell the rest of us that you're going to do that, or are you just doing that on your own?
I just do it.
Okay.
Oh, no white. No white.
Not only did you succeed, but you tapped into the ancient powers of the Force through the ship's engines.
Yeah. So basically, just an
Excellent.
advantage for them to get through.
Nice. Excellent. So you have the device plugged in.
Yeah, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to try and set up effectively like a sort of a quick eject or like a kill switch. So if anything does start to go wrong or I register we're being tracked, I'll just sort of hit the eject button to like yoink it out of the computer systems.
Sounds good.
Maybe let's start with just a message. Like, just send a message out and wait for a ping to come back before we open up a full channel.
That's a good idea. Just give me a moment to... Yeah, so there we go. There we go.
It's very realistic message typing.
It's all in the wrists.
Nice.
And I'll hit send effectively, as he says, just sort of pinging out to make sure we're getting... It's being received somewhere.
Certainly. And what are you exactly saying in this message?
I'm just basically saying like the sort of the call sign of our sort of rebel cell when we were originally placed together. Then have important information. Request meet up with contact.
Okay. As you send it out into the ether of the galactic net, you don't necessarily have to wait that long. It's only about 5 minutes. And you hear this kind of ding, and a two-way communication is standing by for you to activate.
Looks like we've got something here. I'm just going to hit the accept button.
And Coach will get on the comms and be like, Varric, Mercer, get up here and let's listen to this all together.
And I'll press the button to establish the two-way communication.
And when you press the button, the viewport suddenly kind of phases, like almost fuzzes out, and the screen up top, you see an officer, a rebel officer in uniform, and he is what you can see the rank of a Navy captain, and he looks at you and he says, "So, I guess you're the fellas that took out Juggerhead, I hear.
Yes, sir.
It's damn fine work. Damn fine work. And that you've done it without anyone's help and has also managed to escape Echo Base. It's mighty fine work, lads. Mighty fine work.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Captain Rigg. I'm a part of Alliance High Command. Right now we're stationed in an area that is classified only to those of an inner circle. So you'll understand if I don't give away my position. And even upon looking from the signal's direction, you can tell it's actually seems like it's coming at you from about 4 different directions, including the planet's surface. So there's no way to triangulate where the signal is actually coming from.
Very sensible, sir. We don't want to put the rest of the fleet to any undue risk, but we need to arrange a meeting with a representative of the fleet. We have some important information. However, it's too risky to broadcast it on a channel, even one that seems as secure as this.
All right, I see. After you left Bestine, Dr. Aldani contacted us and explained the situation that you would be sending a message out ahead of time. I know it took some time for you to get to Thyfera from Bestine. Not that long, mind you, but still. We're glad you contacted us regardless. I'm very happy with what you did. Taking out that prototype ship, that's no small feat, especially a cruiser. I don't know how you did it, probably with your ship or something, but very impressive work to take out a cruiser with a shuttle, I tell you. Now, here's the thing. I know you lot seem to be under some sort of scrutiny from some sort of Imperial unit. We've never heard of this unit before. Unit 88, something to that effect.
Mm.
We're looking into it right now. We have a few spies checking out, putting an ear to the ground, as it were, and at least trying to dig up any information on them. But so far, these guys are like ghosts. What I don't understand, though, is what is this implant that I've been hearing about? I talked to a member that was part of your group, Alepi, Spock. Thank you. Yeah. Other than the fact that he sure did like to ramble on, gave me some information, but I wouldn't mind hearing it in layman's terms from the 4 of you. So, what is this implant that they're going on about?
Captain, if I may. And I will actually turn around and put my upper body outside with my jump chute, and I'll actually lower it, and then I'll raise the tank top so you can see the area. And this is what we found. I happen to be one of them. In layman's terms, I could be opened up at any time, but mine also showed that it was broken, unless that was the way it was supposed to look.
Well, that's a little strange. Have you ever, I don't know, had missing time or forgotten anything or don't know how you got to one place before you got there?
That's the problem. I don't seem to have missed any time in my memory. Unless that is the time lost, thinking that that memory was still consistent from the time that I lost it. And that's the hard part to explain when myself I have been thinking back over and over. And I don't recall anything of when I got it. I remember something when I was a kid, but that was way before its time.
I see.
And if you look at my medical records, you'll actually see that scar was already there. So they used an old scar and covered it up with that.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. That's pretty strange. Well,
Captain, it's vitally important that you have yourself and anyone in command that's at your location with you examined for any of these devices.
yeah, we've already been talking about that. We've had a few people checked out. So far, so good. At part of High Command, we've actually kept away from most of the standard Rebel bases, and obviously our capital ships are our points of command. But we're definitely keeping an eye on it, and we're sending a general encrypted message to most of the other outposts and hidden bases around, and the cells, to try and double check, make sure that more people are aware of this. So any reports of missing time, hopefully we can nip quite a few of these in the bud, and definitely get rid of them.
Indeed, it seems as though these implants can be used to overwrite someone's personality, effectively taking control of them. A friend could become an enemy with the flick of a switch. Anyone who has one of these devices is potentially a security risk.
They can also be used for assassination as well. We saw that in Habitat 365.
Varric slips out from the shadows where he was standing. It may be wise until everyone is checked out that those that have not are not alone with another person. Any high-value target should always be with 3 people.
A good plan. Sound plan. I like it. When you were at Juggerhead, did you happen to see anything out of the ordinary? If it seems this is where these implants were being made, wouldn't mind at least seeing what their manufacturing is like.
Well, we did discover that the parts of it appeared to be made in different places. I believe the software side of it, the computer programming, came from Raltia, and the biomedical part of the chip came from Phythera, and even some of the hardware apparently came from Coat.
Huh. Well, Thyphera I can understand with the biomedical, seeing as how they pretty much control all the Bacta in the galaxy. Well, at least the Bacta cartels do. The Vratics have been having problems with those mostly human-run organizations, as it stands. But Raltir and Coat, that's not good. They're in the core. That's heavy. That's heavy Imperial patrols. Very easy for agents to slip in and out Imperial side, root out rebels. We have a few.
We suspect. My apologies, Captain. Please continue.
Oh, I was going to say we have a few very hidden, very secretive cells. Quite a few of them based out of Corellia. So if there's ever a chance that you boys need some time for either some R&R or to rearm and re-up, you just head to Corellia and you'll be able to hook yourselves up with something there. But I digress. You were saying?
We suspect that the different places working on the separate parts of these chips may not know entirely what it is they're working on. We think the work may be decentralized in some way, so that even if we were to somehow slip onto one of these bases unnoticed, we'd at best get an incomplete picture of what's going on there. The people themselves probably don't even know exactly what it is they're making. It's all been perhaps put together in a separate location.
That's entirely possible, and a very good point. Well, this is all very good information, and I definitely do appreciate everything that you boys have been through. And I tell you, we're definitely beginning to talk about your exploits.
Thank
Now,
you, sir.
Do you boys have a call sign? Something that we can get in touch with you through this encrypted channel?
I'll put the outgoing sort of thing on mute, effectively press the mute button down and be on the ship comms to everyone else, and I'll be like, call sign.
Well,
Is he talking about a team name or something?
might
I
be
guess,
asking
I
for
guess
the
we
ship
do need
name.
that.
They should know the ship that we took.
Finders keepers? Last I heard, that's what we're calling the ship.
Might want to get more information of what he means by that. Because we have the ship name, we have the ship that they say that is, and as far as a team name, I think that's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
I
Team
would
Alpha
say,
Bravo or Team Bravo or even Team 6. I don't know.
Well, names have power, words have power. They can be used as a symbol, especially for a rebellion. So
Perhaps they just
could be
need
good
some
to have one.
designation to refer to us when they're discussing the information we passed on.
I'll take my hand off the mute button and I'll say, could you clarify what you mean by a call sign, sir? I'm sorry, the signal's a little bit sketchy at this end.
Yeah, I bet it is. Look, if there's one thing that the Empire is damn fine at, it's propaganda. You boys have already made a name for yourselves on a whole damn planet. Bestine is talking about you and the Levy. About how you boys went in there and just hightailed it, blew up a ship, and went in and basically took out this shipyard where we couldn't. Right under their noses. Damn fine work. And now that they're talking about you, well, we wouldn't mind taking a name, putting it to you, and maybe jumping in on this as well.
And any ideas, guys? All of the names I come up with sound like X-rated holovids.
Well, unless there's a better idea, I think in honor of Amshak, something with thunder would be good. But I'll look to the others and see if they have any other ideas. I'm not well versed in rebel lore.
Rebel lore, rebel not, it don't matter. We got to get something that, I mean, something that
Mercer,
they would
you went to
say.
school 3 times. Any other names? What could be good? Would
Well,
fit.
anything was better than wrench, and don't you ever call me that.
Not your name, our team name.
I know. Normally a game is given to you, something from what people saw, what people did. And I mean, I know we caused a lot of havoc back there, but I just don't, nothing's coming to mind of what should be said. But it's usually a name like that needs to be given to you. You just don't get to pick your name. Otherwise,
Well,
it
Captain's waiting, so
doesn't become
Havoc
true.
Squad sounds good to me.
How about we ask the captain to pick a name then, since apparently we've made a name for ourselves? It's
Now,
what he's going to be calling us.
This entire time, the captain has been actually sitting there listening to you as you did not really mute it, as you guys have been arguing back and forth, and rolling his eyes like, well, on Echo Base, as you boys were leaving, Havoc Squad stayed there and helped defend against the snowtroopers that were coming in. They fought themselves down to a man, but were primarily cut to pieces. I do feel that the amount of damage and destruction you boys caused on Bestine. I think it would be time to maybe even resurrect that name. We'll know you as Havoc. You two... No, sorry. I thought you were going to say something. You four have been instrumental. And that being said, you shall be known as Havoc.
Very good, sir.
Now,
One thing to add, sir, if I may. That spec you spoke of, or spoke with, he's part of this team too. He might be on his own area, but if anything we do right, he did it along with us.
Well said, Mercer.
Yes.
that's perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. I respect that, and that's good camaraderie right there. So, it seems now that you boys have a choice. If this thing is going to kick off and rebel leaders are going to be working for the Empire, whether they wish to or not, we're going to need to take this thing out. Now, you gentlemen are currently in the Thyfera system. If you boys want to start there, work on getting this back to, perhaps, I would say even stealing it. That is perfectly fine by us. If you can take this back to, and we can get it and smuggle it out, that'll definitely go a long way to helping us get more troops in better health and in better shape to continue fighting the Empire. So head down to Thyfera. As a matter of fact, I'll suggest this. I want you boys to head down to Zaxlux City. Stop by at a cantina called Morbo's Place. Think you'll have fun there. And the picture of Captain Rig just kind of winks out, and you're left with, again, a beautiful curtain of stars with the planet Thyfera.
Well, it looks like we're going to some sort of watering hole then, boys.
Sounds good to me, as long as there's not too much water like the last place we were at.
Okay.
What do we know about how welcome are we going to be in Thyfera?
Well, from what I remember, it's cartel run. So I suppose we've at least got the fact that it's not tightly controlled by the Empire, but well, it's all criminal run down there, big corporations and that sort of thing. So we probably won't get a terribly warm reception unless we're walking the walk and talking the talk, so to speak. Money talks down there.
Are we going to be the only aliens? Like Bestine?
I don't know. I mean, most of what I know about Thyfera is what I've read in the databases. I've not actually been there myself.
Neither
I don't
have
know what the I don't know whether it's another one of these human-dominated planets.
Well, let's head to Zaxlux City and this Marbos place and see what kind of fun we can have there.
Okay, I'll see if I can contact any of the docking authorities on the planet to find out where the nearest port is to Zaxlux City and see if I can get us down there. I'll stop messing about with the controls, attempting to contact the relevant landing authorities.
Okay. So as you begin to head towards the planet, you get you do get one person from Zaxlux City, which, by the way, out of game is actually quite difficult to pronounce. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, so a representative comes up, and yes, Good morning. This is Zaxlux City. It's, who's this then?
We're a trade ship attempting to secure some supplies. We need to refuel, etc. We were also told this might be a good place to stop over to spend a little bit of our hard-earned cash. We're looking for the nearest landing port to your fine city.
Right, alright, you could probably stop in at Zugfra District. This is Zoltan District, ground control. So I'll patch you through, and then he just quickly cuts out.
Well, that was abrupt.
And you keep on.
I suppose no nonsense is better than nonsense, and I'll start sort of getting the ship ready to go in.
And you like another ping on your communicator. Good day. This is Zugfra landing clearance. How may I assist you?
Yes, we're looking to bring our trade vessel into your port. We're just hoping to stop over for a quick refuel and looking to spend some of our hard-earned credits there.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Tell me, are they still serving the special at Morbo's place?
Morbo's? I truly doubt I could afford to go there, so I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Landing port 2 Alpha is open for you. When you land, you will be directed to a hermetically sealed chamber. You will be checked over for any infectious diseases or other such medical hazards that could pose a problem to our Bacta production. If you are found to be carrying any sort of infectious material, you will be asked to leave or purify. Do you understand?
Received and understood, docking control.
Excellent. Goodbye. And then click. You hear another. Right away shuts off.
Okay, well, it sounds like this Morbo's place is an upmarket sort of establishment, from what the tower controller was saying. I'll take us in on a landing vector.
I'm not sure how Alliance Command expects us to get in there on our pay grade. And Koljamal's thinking about the 0 credits in his bank account as a grunt infantry frontline soldier.
Well, the first thing about going undercover is to act like the part. Act like you have it. As far as I know, I don't have it either, but second, any insignias we have with the rebellion, we need to not have on us.
We need some different clothes.
And
Are we still wearing our dock stuff, our dock workers' outfits? Do we still have those?
You are currently wearing those right now, as you have not changed into any of the armor that you currently had, or at least had.
Mhm.
You may have some spare changes of armored clothing, or at least like heavier padded clothing, something that would basically make you stand out as nothing more than either a smuggler or trader. It's not fancy, but it'll do.
Yeah, Kojamal's gonna keep that dock worker's outfit on. He's gonna suit up with the padded armor on top, holster his heavy blaster, and keep his vibro knife on him too.
I'm assuming that myself and Varric have changed given the amount of time we spent in the water while we were wearing our dock uniform.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, in fact, I think we had changed once we climbed out of the water. I remember getting into my concealing robes and stuff. So.
Yes, that would be on the boat ride back. The fast chase boat ride back, which was pretty awesome.
And Mercer's been half wearing his, basically, from the waist down. He's been wearing it. Otherwise, it's kind of been hanging and tied up and threw on when he had to talk, and then kind of taken off again when he had to show him the identification, and that might be another issue.
Well, we've not got a lot of time to think about it. If I hang around too long up here, they'll definitely get suspicious. So I need to start making landing prep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
land
go
away.
ahead. We
I
can
didn't know
quickly
we
change
were-
while you're landing the ship if anybody
I
needs
didn't know
to.
we were slowing you down.
Well, this is a precision instrument, I'll say, running my hands over the control panel.
Just a character for a second. I think we do also have clothing on the shuttle, if I'm not mistaken. There's the agent guy. There are some lockers that had some random clothing in it too. So.
Mhm.
Yes, and some of them, you had one, at least one, Imperial officer uniform. You had one kind of like plain clothes, like nothing, very nondescript clothing, and you also had like some like kind of like tattered, ratty clothes. It looked like almost like basically like a bunch of different costumes for different things or different requirements that the agent needed.
Okay.
The approach to the planet for everyone seems uneventful. Celine, as you are flying towards the planet entering orbit, you see the planet receding, getting further away as you fly towards it, almost seeming an impossibility. The stars begin to fade and almost disappear as the planet becomes a smaller and smaller green dot until it too disappears. The blackness that you see, the oblivion, pulls away as you look, or at least are looking, down at the planetscape below, the lush trees and jungles, but it is seen from a bird's eye view, a literal bird's eye view. It is beautiful, passing overhead, seeing the incredible depth of this jungle world, this lush, vibrant, humid, beautiful planet. And you look down, and you see a small skiff speeding through the jungle. And your only thought is food. There is food there, and you have to eat. And as you begin your descent to catch this skiff, you realize that there are 4 tasty morsels on this skiff. What looks to be a tentacle-faced thing, 2 man-looking things that you have seen on your planet before, and one that seems to be there but not be there, but be there, but you don't care because you're hungry and you haven't eaten, and all the denizens of the planet, as much as you try to feed, they're always fighting back, and it makes you angry, but you are finally able to get a hold of these things that walk upon the ground, and you begin your descent. It begins screaming and screeching as the air flows through your wings, past your beak, hitting your face. You feel the rush and the speed as the blood begins to pound through your body as you get closer and closer and closer, and suddenly your eyes open. The planet is getting extremely close. Zaxlux City is actually in view now. The beautiful high-rises mirroring what looks to be almost older pyramidal type structures all around, and a voice snaps you out. Shuttle. Landing pad 2 Alpha, where are you going?
Apologies, we're experiencing some energy fluctuations in our thruster. Correcting now. and I'll try and correct course.
Okay, make me a piloting check. Difficulty of 3, because you have never been on this planet before.
Okay.
Do the rest of us notice anything strange about his piloting when that episode just happened?
It just seems as okay. You quickly try and switch your course, but in doing so, you seem to force the shuttle pretty hard, and it sustains a little bit of a problem with this gyroscope, and it begins kind of listing a little bit to the left.
Okay, what I'll do is I'm going to see if I can, since we're now sort of in the atmosphere, I'm going to see if I can vent some of the air from inside the shuttle out of one of the sort of hatches on the side of it, see if I can sort of use that as a boost to like push it back on course.
Nice. Okay. For that, you'll probably need someone else to kind of get back there and vent, or at least try and open up one of the one of the side vents.
Okay, I'll get on the ship's comm and I'll say, I need one of you to get to the rear access hatch. I'm going to vent some of the atmosphere from inside the shuttle. We're dangerously close to overshooting our mark.
On it.
We're just going to go to the pilot station and see if he can assist. Some expertise with flying and planetary systems.
And Kojima will recover from when the shuttle suddenly lists to one side, and he'll just grab the wall for a second, get on the comms, and be like, "Damn it, Celine, what's going on? I thought you knew how to pilot this thing."
I do. I think I must have been hit by the blast of that explosion on the water planet harder than I initially thought. I'm trying to correct now. Mercer, are you at the hatch yet?
Yes. Ready for you.
Stand by. Venting atmosphere now.
Make a switch.
Nice. Perfect. And it blows back. It seems like it's gonna not quite work, but then it slowly begins to even out, and you get this wave of this like thick, humid air that is almost like if you've ever been in like an arboretum or a greenhouse, this like powerful, heady plant smell just begins to permeate the ship, and different flowers and plants. Just this aroma just hits you that is so absolutely different than Bestine, and it is quite powerful. And tell me what does your character feel when like just this smell hits them?
Kojima will sneeze, and he'll just like, "Achoo! Oh man. Well, it's a step up from the water, but I still miss home."
Well, I'll do you a deal if I manage to land us safely here. Next time, I'll take us to a bloody desert world.
And I'm in perplexed because once I do that, I start looking at the calibrations of just the way the engine's been running, and I'm not seeing anything out of whack and why it's causing him such problems, because it's something that I would not have ever imagined coming from a good solid machine and a pilot that I've seen on multiple times do things that has been miraculous. And what is causing him? I'm not going to say anything to call him out. I will probably call him out on it one-on-one. But right now, you can see it from my face that there's nothing wrong with the ship. Why is he? We didn't even need to vent it. There was nothing needed if he was just paying attention and flying down. I don't get it.
All right. The quick trip back to your basically to the landing pad 2 Alpha. You see now it is basically kind of a large landing pad, but each landing pad area seems to have like this kind of like large encapsulating bubble. And as you kind of begin your descent, it kind of like retracts into itself and into the actual spaceport. Opens up, and as your shuttle lands, the docking struts or the landing struts kind of pop out, and it just kind of, and you just see quickly that again this bubble like kind of pops overhead. Before you even leave, you get another message. This is Medical Administrator Famine Floor. Please, could you tell us what sort of atmosphere you breathe? We are getting different different biosignatures from the lot of you.
Standard oxygen-based atmosphere.
Perfect, excellent. We had a few nitrogen breathers before, let me tell you, that was very messy. At any rate, if you'll just pardon us, we're just going to do quite a simple little test to make certain that you're not carrying anything that will impact the Bacta. I can imagine you don't have several million credits to, repurpose in case we lose a harvest or something.
No, please go ahead with your scan.
Excellent, thank you. This will take merely a moment. Just a moment. Ah, yes. Perfect. Your ship will be hermetically sealed, barring any sort of leaks, and simply due to the fact that we do not feel the need to inspect your ship if we hermetically seal the entire thing. You will be allowed to leave and to conduct whatever business you wish. Do keep in mind that standard law applies, especially the law of the Empire, and if anything were to happen, obviously the Zukfra Corporation will seize control of your vessel and turn it over to the Empire, who will then sell it as deemed necessary. Unfortunately, your next of kin will no longer receive any funding. But now that we've got that out of the way, enjoy your time on Thyfera. And then he winks out, and that's it. That's the end of the session. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll sit back in my chair after they've sort of rung off the comms. I'll be like, a few like beads of sweat running off my forehead. Just sort of sit there for a few moments thinking, what the hell was that?
You seem a bit out of sorts.
Where did you get into the cockpit, Varric? Yes, I think I must have hit my head during our last mission a little bit harder than I thought, to maybe some of that debris that rained down on us.
I see. Well, you should have spec. Well, perhaps someone here on planet can check you out.
Well, yes, I don't mind spec checking me out, but unless one of you stowed him away in the luggage compartment without telling me, that's not really an option.
Yes, it was my mistake. That's why we'll have to maybe see if we can arrange it once we're disembarked.
I do see your point. I'm not sure I entirely trust anyone on this world to give me the once-over, as it were. Oh, got a bit of a headache, though, truth be told.
Well, I just ask that you keep me apprised if you experience any more issues.
It was the strangest thing. It was I don't really know how to describe it. I was just piloting us in, nice and steady, nothing unusual. I've landed far more difficult and more rickety ships than this with far less trouble. And then for a moment, it was almost as though I was outside the ship looking down at the planet. I don't really know how to describe it.
That is strange.
I'm damn lucky I didn't crash the ship with all of us on it.
All right, boys and girls, we got to get out of here. We're going to find out what's going on this planet so we can actually see how we're going to get this backed off the planet for the rebellion.
Kojima will be finishing up, his gearing up, and he hears Mercer call out on the comms, and he'll get on the comm too, and he'll add, the ship's going to be sealed. Take anything you need with you, because the only time we open it up again is when we're leaving.
Good point.
Quick out-of-character question, just to refresh my mind. Following the typical rules, what's the restrictions on weapons and such?
Carrying weapons, as this is a very kind of a bit of an upper class planet, and a very kind of capitalist form of planet. Carrying weapons, it's better if you carry concealed weapons as just walking around carrying blaster rifles, and that will probably land you in either a bit of trouble or under enough scrutiny that anything you try and do will be seen. Carrying blaster pistols as traders, seeing as how you are generally dressed, obviously not as businessmen, it should be completely like that. That should be okay. Although, I mean, you will look like traders. Basically, it's like you'll look like people that are dressed for the Wild West walking down Wall Street. So it's like, well, these guys don't belong here, but whatever, that kind of thing.
How about the force pike? Would that be something that would be frowned upon as well?
If you found some way to use it as something that's not a force pike, that would be entirely up to you.
I think just for the ease and blending in, I'll just use secret my vibro knife and vibro knucklers on my person.
And you're going to leave your force pike behind.
Yep, on the ship.
Okay.
Kojima will keep his heavy blaster pistol. He'll just holster it on his hip holster and his leg holster, and he'll conceal the vibro knife. And he'll just wear the padded armor over his uniform still.
Awesome. And Celine and Mercer, you guys just going to be...
Well, likewise, I'm just going to try and conceal. I've only got a light blaster pistol and a combat knife, so I'm just going to try and conceal them about my person. So keep my armored clothing on.
Perfect.
And myself will be the padded clothing, or the padded armor underneath my jumpsuit, and basically looking like I'm going to set myself up to be the grunt of the team, carrying heavy things, so basically kind of not be seen throughout beyond these guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kojima's going to have a differential role as just like a security individual for the trading team.
So as you guys go down the gantry way, you leave the hermetic bubble that surrounds your ship, and as soon as you walk in, you are of course hit with this very humid air, which is like extremely smells very much strongly of flora. Looking around, it is a beautiful planet. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even though right now all you can see are taller buildings. You realize, at least the three of you coming in, just the level of trees and valleys and even the mountains. There seems to be no place where the trees have not grown in. And it is just a stunning place. But here you are, of course, in a different jungle, in a concrete jungle, and as you exit from the spaceport, or at least from the small area, onto what looks to be a main thoroughfare, you see street to your left and a street to your right, and it's just tall buildings. You see a few humans and what seems to be some type of an insectoid-like race. They seem to be walking. There seems to be quite a few of them, actually, even more so than humans walking around. You also see a few Twi'leks and a few Saurians, but for the most part, it's generally just a lot of Radix, a lot of these insectoid creatures, and a lot of humans.
Well, at least we don't stick out so much here.
I'm just going to look at him and raise an eyebrow.
Kojima will sneeze again.
I'm going to see if there's any sort of public access terminal I can access to see if I can find this Morbo's place. I'll start looking about.
Sure. You find a kind of a small plinth that looks like hollow generators that seems to be it just seems to be spinning in basic and at least 2 or 3 other languages, or at least other written languages, that it just says simply welcome to Thyphera.
Okay, I'm going to access it and see if I can find effectively like a business directory and then do a search on it, see if I can find this Morbo's place.
Sure. And searching around, you notice that it has a few cantina directories, and Morbo's place seems to be at the very top, and it seems to be a very highly rated cantina. As soon as you press it and to see where it is, you see the information beacon light up, kind of a yellow. Across the thoroughfare, you see another information beacon also light up yellow. And then even further down, you see another one light up yellow.
Well, I think we follow the lights then, boys. And I'll start heading in that direction.
Lead on, my friend.
And walking down, you begin to get a sense of the culture that is here. A lot of both humans and Vratics seem to kind of look down on the 4 of you as you were walking. They can definitely tell that you're not businessmen. You don't work for either Zoltan or Zukfra, the 2 companies that are in control of all the Bacta in the galaxy. So much so that although they're technically rivals, they seem to technically not be. Like they don't seem to be fighting so much as actually they have taken this massive city, this huge city of millions of people, and just split it right down in half. Whereas one company owns one side of the city, the other company owns the other side. And right now, you seem to be what's in almost a narrow strip in between the 2 districts of this city, walking towards. And some humans kind of look at you and kind of as if you had, passed wind. And some Vratics, their antennae starts to chitter at you, and they begin to chitter, making this this sound, and they walk by. Finally, as you are looking at the lights, you finally see that one of them is green. And it is in front of this very beautiful building. It is done up very nicely in almost a stone and wood, kind of a melding of the two in this beautiful organic structure, and in very stylized writing in this kind of what seems to be kind of neon. It's just a simple sign that says Morbos. In front, you see two very beautiful doors that almost seem to be you almost seem to be able to just like push open and walk in, which is very strange, as most cantinas and most other buildings just have auto doors, but this place seems to be a bit different.
Once we're in range of seeing that green light indicating our destination, I will split off from the group, creating some distance, allowing them to enter separately of myself.
Okay.
Right, I think this is the place then, gentlemen. I suggest we go in, try and mingle in as best we can.
As we're passing, I want to look into the window and kind of see the visual that outside has inside. Not looking at anything in particular. I just want to see how visual it is from outside to look in. And then walking in, what I want to do is find or notice the people who quickly, beside like the bartender and waitresses and waiters, that will look at the door as if, one, expecting somebody, or just as a overall that's their job that they need to be doing. So I'm not looking at people that's sitting on the normal tables. I'm looking at people on the wall, people behind, things. I want to kind of get an idea of how quickly people pick up.
Sure. The windows are mirrored. So I'm sorry that to tell you that, but
no, that makes it great.
You look in, but you only see yourself reflected back at you. You can't actually see into the cantina.
That's fine. That gives me more freedom inside.
which unfortunately, because I felt bad, because I'm like, hey, that's actually a really smart freaking idea. Yeah, the windows are you only see reflected back, yourselves in the city, and yeah, that's pretty much what you see.
And before we actually walk in the door, Kojima will stop the guys for a second and be like, guys, so if this place is as expensive as we think it is, can somebody maybe cover me, and I'll get you back later?
Kojima, you belong here. Remember that. You belong here.
Yeah, but yeah.
You belong here.
As long as you have the credits for me to belong here. That's all I'm saying.
In we go, then.
You got the credits to cover me, then. Yeah, for sure, I belong here.
All right, so as you push open the doors, since at first they don't seem to open automatically, as you push them open, they just slowly, and almost as if like these doors are perfectly balanced, they just seem to glide open. And as you look in, you see a small lounge area directly in front of you, and there is a very attractive Twi'lek woman standing at the main entrance, and just beyond you see a very beautiful dark wooden bar top that seems to actually be a four-way bar that is completely encased in this establishment, and various seating with very few tables kicking around, and they're sparsely it's sparsely populated in there right now. Like there's maybe 10, 15 people kind of sit in the bar, but the cantina itself seems like it would be able to seat at least 80 to 150 people. Behind the bar, the bartender herself is this absolutely stunning woman. She is incredibly beautiful. She has this kind of sandy blonde hair and this smile that instantly makes you feel welcome. Even though she's not even smiling at you, she seems to be smiling at something a client sitting at the bar had said, and she laughed, but immediately you feel both drawn to her and very comfortable, even regardless of the fact that she is a human and some of you are not. The Twi'lek looks at the four of you and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think you're supposed to be here. There's a cantina 3 doors down that seems to be more your type."
Is there like a guest list on her podium or anything like that?
There is. There's a kind of like a data pad that, I mean, you can tell there's a data pad, but you can't see anything on it.
I'm just going to give a loud and sort of exaggeration when she says that, and I'll reach inside my pocket, take out 50 credits, put it in her hand, and I'll just say, "My friends and I would like some drinks, if it's not too much trouble."
She looks at her hand, and she looks at the credits, and she just bursts out laughing. 50 credits. Oh.
Well, I'm sorry. Was the tip I gave you not enough?
Here, and she gives it back to you. Most drinks here cost at least 200 credits in a pub. But if you wish to give me 50 credits, that's very kind of you, but I don't really think that's necessary. And as she's looking at you and smiling, you actually see suddenly this beautiful woman, this bartender, walks up right behind. Nix. These are my friends. Please come in, sit at the bar. We have a bit to discuss. It's been so long since I've seen the three of you. I don't know you though, and she kind of points at Kojamal. But come in. Ah, goodness. It's been years since you've been in here. Probably before I even hired her. And anyway, regardless, you must tell me all about your adventures and let me know if you finally hit it big. Come. And she kind of puts herself in between the four of you and like kind of wraps her arms around both of you and like slapping you on the back and smiling and she's making this. So I must know if you ever did try and do that Kessel run. We've heard of that one smuggler who did it in 8 parsecs, 9, 10, something to that effect. I hope that you finally made it. Oh, please, move out of the way. And she points to a couple of patrons. Can you just move? These are my friends. You let them sit. So the 2 patrons are like, oh, sorry, grabbing their drinks and, sorry. And they kind of just walk off to another table. So, what can I get you fellas today?
So as Kojamal was following the others, they would have left ahead of him, and Nix was still there, and he would have waited for the others to go. And before he follows them, he turns to Nix and just with a big grin on his face and says, "We belong here," and then he'll just follow the others, trailing behind.
And Nix kind of rolls her eyes and just shakes her head and goes back to her data pad. So, what would you gentlemen like to drink?
Nothing that costs 200 credits.
Well, if my friend's paying, then I'll have some Corellian whiskey.
Look,
right.
I'm no wee quay, but even I'm not paying 200 credits for a drink.
You're not going to have to pay.
Definitely Corellian whiskey, then.
I think I have a good vintage. I also make a homemade brandy if you'd like one of them. Anyone?
I'll sort of raise my hand as if I'm going to say yes, and then
That'd be a pleasure.
I'll think back to my incident on the ship, and I'll go, no, probably best not for me, to be honest.
All right. So she hands you a brandy, Mercer, and you this very strange-looking bulbous glass, and it's a you, Kojamal. It's like this big. It's like a tulip glass, but it actually keeps going up this very narrow stem, and then it kind of pops just at a spot where you put your mouth. This is the most expensive Corellian whiskey I have. It costs 1,500 credits per drink. Enjoy it slowly.
No problem. Salin's good for it. And I'll just tap him on the shoulder. And I'll hold up the glass like with two hands, very delicately, because I can tell this is a very fragile thing. And in my mind, I know this is very expensive drink, and I do not have the money to pay for this, and I don't get to drink this very often. So I'll just hold it up very carefully and drink very slowly, and just just hold the whiskey in my mouth, savoring the taste, and then swallowing and drinking it slowly, just enjoying this rare opportunity when I can drink this.
Nice.
You two want to be alone for a moment?
No, because without you, I can't get more. So I still need you here.
And as you see, this woman kind of looks around and notices that the patrons are kind of doing their own thing and kind of off to the side, and she kind of puts both elbows on and says, "Right, well, we heard that you had come. We heard that you had come from Bestine. We know who you are, but we don't know if you are who you say you are. That being said, we have a proposition to make for you. We need to make certain that you are part of the rebellion and not under any sort of influence. We intercepted your communication with Captain Rigg, who's a very good man, by the way. We will give you access to the Alliance communications outpost here. However, there is something that we need you to do for us."
And what might that be?
My homemade brandy is a bit of an excuse for me. I make it, but when I'm going to collect the proper fruits for it, I'm actually giving information to a local resistance unit here, not necessarily part of the rebellion, but one that is vital to the liberation of this planet. They are called the Black Claws. They are a native Vratix group that is hell-bent on sabotaging many of the Imperial facilities here. I unfortunately am one woman, and I am unable to carry explosives to them. However, if you would bring these explosives to these Black Claw saboteurs, I firmly believe that you would definitely prove to us, to me, that you would be definitely part of the rebellion and not some sort of double agent.
A whole group of saboteurs? I like these guys already. I'm happy to do it anyway. If the others are in.
Well, if that's what we need to do to prove we are who we say we are, then that's what we need to do. How will we get to these Black Claws?
I have a skiff, a personal skiff. We will take that north and east. I will provide instructions and waypoints on your data pad. I assume you do have a data pad.
Yes, there it is.
Excellent. And so you just see her dexterous fingers just start like tapping on. Right. I have a location programmed. You will leave in 3 hours. How you spend those 3 hours is not up to me. But in 3 hours, you will take this datapad, walk to the designated area. You will pick up a skiff. The skiff will already be loaded. You will get on, and you will fly to the pre-designated coordinates. I warn you, though, the Black Claws are rather twitchy, is the best word I can think of. However, they will understand that you are giving them explosives, and they will be very happy to blow up damn near anything that needs be. Also,
what's the terrain like we'll be going over?
heavy jungle. You will need some very good piloting skills. I hope one of you has that, so you can navigate behind some deadfalls, thick foliage, very large trees. It won't be easy, but if you can manage to fly your way around that, you should have no trouble.
Okay, so 3 hours it is then.
Excellent. Oh, also, do you see that man over there? And she points to a guy who kind of seems like he's in a jumpsuit, kind of like you guys, except it's a little bit different, you know, kind of more of a locally made kind of a thing. He's sitting there. He's kind of just nursing a drink, and he's not looking either happy or sad. He's just kind of like looking at the drink. Almost seems like he's trying to will it into his mouth. That man over there is exactly where I'm going to put the tide change. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from left to right, and we'll find out who this man is and what he's doing, or what she's going to ask you to do.
And here I was going to use the reflection on my glass to look at him in whatever way she looked. So.
Okay, so we will start with Varric.
Okay, I will say that he is related to one of the corporations, and he has a deal going on with someone from the other corporation, and he needs some muscle to go to this meeting with him, because it's kind of contentious, whatever the matter is about.
Okay, so like some corporate espionage kind of thing?
Yep.
All right, I like that. It's kind of cool. Okay, next up, Kujmal.
I'm gonna tie this into John's character a little bit, and I'm gonna say that he's been asking about a Quarren, and he seems to have been expecting Salen to arrive here, and he could be dressed somewhat distinctively, and he might have something he wants to talk to Salen about that might tie into Salen's vision.
Interesting.
So not necessarily like whatever, how far you want to go, Jedi Force user, whatever, something like that. Let's see what you want to do with that.
Okay. And Celine.
Okay, I'm going to say he's effectively a local sort of tracker. He's like an expert on the local wildlife. He makes his money by taking people out into this sort of jungle, effectively on like tours, I suppose you would say. And that's how he's made all of his cash, by taking these boats, these skiffs, out into the sort of plains and like doing sort of touristy stuff for the executives who've got lots of money to burn to go and see the curious like local wildlife and indigenous people.
Nice. Okay, so I am going to put this into the Facebook group, and once the time comes, we'll come back in about 15 minutes, and then we will find out this wonderful tide change from the heart of the Empire. We'll see you guys real soon. Hey everybody, hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm definitely having a lot of fun, and oh boy, it's gonna be a very interesting tide change, to say the least. And again, this game is brought to you by the Star Wars Tides of Change role-playing game club. It is, and I know I say it to death, but I just cannot express how much fun, how inviting, and how supportive the Facebook page has been. It's a great place to meet. You love Star Wars, and if you are getting into, even for the first time, the Fantasy Flight game Star Wars game, really, really would recommend it. It's definitely an enjoyable time with a lot of fun and great people to talk to. So I would highly suggest you check out the Facebook page, and of course, all my players, their channels, What the Dice and Red Dice Diaries, definitely check them out because I couldn't plug them enough. If you ever wanted to play Fate, Red Dice Diaries has some of the best Fate tutorials, and every tutorial. Not only is the man a smooth talking guy, but he also has some highly informative and wonderful videos. So definitely check him out. Oh, hey, so John didn't see you there. And luckily, I got a re-up on the beer, so we're gonna be ready to do this, maybe. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't got a curveball this bad since that one time I tried to play baseball. So, by the way, Canadians in baseball, not so much. So I think so far so good. Trying out this new prep method, I've actually been really impressed with how it's gone so far. I would highly suggest it, and for those of you watching at home, if you are a subscriber to A Fistful of Dice, please by all means go check out his video on this very prep method that I'm using to run this game as well. It's a fun and easy method. I'm a kind of guy that likes to prepare every little thing because it gives me kind of comfort. But doing this, it actually pulls me out of my comfort zone, and I actually kind of like it. It forces me to improv more, and it also makes things readily available and oversimplified so I can look at my notes and easily jump into the game. So what I'll do is also provide a link to that video in the description, so definitely check it out. So we're just waiting on Devin, I think.
Back.
Nope. Whoa, hey. Yep.
Speak of the devil.
Indeed. Speak of the Devin. No, okay, that's fine. You know what? I tried. Okay, improv. I got to work on jokes.
Actually, if you know me well, some people would disagree.
Ooh. All right. As she leans even closer to you, that man there, he says he's looking for a Quarren. Now, I'm not going to lie. You seem to be the first Quarren that has come in here ever.
I'll get up, not quickly, but neither not shyly, and I'll kind of back behind Salen, put my hand on his back as to not let him scoot out in any way, and I'll walk towards the gentleman, take a seat as if I was supposed to be on that chair, and
Kojima will keep drinking, and he'll burp a little bit and turn to Salen and say, "A friend of yours?"
and I
Anyone
will
I recognise.
lay it on the table, put my forearms fully on the on. I know it's so wrong of etiquette, but I just put it right on. What do you need?
The man doesn't even look up. He continues to stare at his drink. I'm looking for a Quarren. I didn't say I was looking for a Mandalorian, especially not a Mandalorian whose chip I put in the base of his spine.
So, two things you said, and I'll lean in. You are playing with fire, and I am barely the match that you don't want to deal with. I know you don't want to look at me in my eye.
At that, he he actually does sit up and look you straight in the eye, and he leans even close to you. You are barely inches apart. Look, there are three ways that this is going to happen. You call your friends over, pull up some chairs, sit down, and we all have a very nice talk, Mercer. Or you punch me out of rage because I put an implant in your head. Or three, you get up, you walk away, and in that very action, you've told me that my help is not required. Now, I would highly suggest you make a choice. Remember this, though. No matter how hard you punch me, no matter how much you shoot me, you're not going to harm me. And I think you understand that already, don't you?
And under that, you hear a very inaudible SOB. And I'll quickly not even look at the team, keeping looking at the gentleman's eye, not flinching from it, and left hand, and quickly grab a chair that's empty behind me and slide it so there's actually a total of 4 chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chairs. Because there's so. And I'm trying to keep calm, but you can see in my face that I do want to punch him as hard as I possibly can, like I've never punched anybody before. But same time, he did say some words at the end that was, I don't want his help. So it's giving me two options there. So it's up to the rest if they catch what I'm doing.
So Kojima will turn to Salen and say, "Well, looks like he's a friend of Mercer's now. Should we go over?"
That might be a good idea.
So I'll stand up and I'll hold this tall decanter of Krillian whiskey, like precious, fragile thing, and carefully navigate through the crowd to pull up a chair at the table.
The crowd is relatively sparse, so walking through, you can just walk through without a problem. Most people are seated, and there are a few servers that are actually walking to tables and getting them what they need. Morbo, who I think you realize is the owner of the establishment, and the beautiful woman is basically gone back, kind of nodded her head, and gone back to start mixing drinks.
I'll likewise follow Kojimal across and sit down at the table.
After a moment, Varric will follow, and he will actually pace around the table one time, his gaze on the man studying him, before he'll take the chair opposite of Mercer, sitting on the other side of the man.
It seems to me that you are short a party member. The Leppy, Speck, I believe his name is. He did not fall at Juggerhead, I hope.
He's taking care of some special business for us on Bestine.
Good. Now, I believe that I have a lot to answer for. And I imagine that you're all rather confused and a little bit upset with me.
How do you know about the Leppy? Who are you exactly?
Forgive me. I am 52. I am the individual that you were seeking, and the individual that may have been the cause of your current predicament. Now, understand, Mercer, I put that implant in your head for one reason only, and it is not control. It is a specially modified implant. It does nothing. The only problem is I had to ensure that it was going to stay, which is why I needed it to look the part. And I also needed the four of you to understand the gravity of this situation. Currently, this clandestine order, Unit 88, is planning a dangerous coup. One that will give them enough power to possibly overthrow the Emperor and assume command of the Imperial forces. How they wish to do it is by crushing the rebellion from within. If they can create double agents at whim, they can cause all sorts of problems for this fledgling rebellion. This was something that I would not participate in. It was enough that we were spy masters. And he looks over to Varric and assassins. However, I will not rip a man's self from his body. I will not take control and flit with lives of people for the sheer benefit of the Empire. Perhaps I am an old warhorse, but right now I am speaking in this individual from a safe place. I have gone into hiding. I am able to hack into certain implants, ones that aren't used very often, and then speak to you on a somewhat minimal basis. I can do what I can, and I will attempt to do what I can. And I fear that if I have the time now, I would assist you in any way that I can until something happens and then I need to leave. You are on the right path. Right now. Currently, the Bacta is sitting in a warehouse far from here, in the Zaltan district. It is a heavily fortified warehouse, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. It can be circumvented, but understand that you are not just dealing with stormtroopers, you are also dealing with armored vehicles. So my suggestion to you is to go in as quietly as possible, either destroy or steal the Bacta, and get out as fast as you possibly can. Now, currently, this implant is in its infancy stages, so they're going to require lots of Bacta in order to produce these things. If you can destroy it, it's unfortunate, but it would happen. Unfortunately, you would also be destroying many containers of Bacta, stuff that is, obviously, as you know, well important to the galaxy for medical and for saving lives. A precise surgical strike would be required, but I leave that into your hands. Do you have any questions?
Many, but none that can be answered at this moment because we have other things. Why didn't you lead off with that you are 52, instead of making me feel the emotion that I had?
You're Mandalorian. It's in your blood. You're passionate people, proud people. You have to understand that power without control leads to terrible things. Great things, but terrible things. Sometimes you will not have all the information, and sometimes you will wish to react quickly and out of the emotional responses that you feel without using a level head. Fortunately, Mercer, you just learned a good lesson. Understand that and use that rage, but use it as a controlled substance. Make sure that when you strike, it is with purpose.
Why not use the other company against Zoltan themselves? Cause a ruckus between the two companies within itself.
Zoltan and Zukfra, they are two companies, but with one master, and that master is the Emperor. Both companies went to the Emperor long ago and asked to be able to control the Bacta. In return, they supply the Emperor and most of their soldiers with enough Bacta to continue the fight against the rebellion and squash any resistance on any planet that it comes into contact with. That being said, if a smuggler were to get on board, or at least get on the planet, and steal some of the Bacta, as the rebellion has been doing, well, it does take away from some of their uses, as it were. Fortunately, the rebellion already has a small stream of Bacta from loyal smugglers going straight directly to them. However, if we were able to send a lot of Bacta, increase the stream, the rebellion would definitely have a leg up on the Empire. But, again, that is entirely up to your choices. Which is a funny thing, isn't it? Choice. It is something that people generally live their entire lives under the illusion of it, but very few people get to taste actual choice. Don't forget that. And you, Celine, you were the one originally deigned to have the implant in you. However, we found something very interesting about your physiology.
And what is that?
Well, it seems that you have certain abilities, interesting ones. I'm assuming you have already noticed this, have you not?
I just look at him blankly.
Well, you can lie to me if you'd like, or you could deny it all you wish. However, you know this to be true. After all, not everyone can destroy a cruiser using a thermal detonator and a blaster rifle. Rather impressive, even for a single man. But you will come to know. You will come to know your power. You will come to know your own abilities. Now, if memory serves me correctly, you gentlemen have a skiff to catch, and I would like to leave this body back to its own devices. Oh, before I do go, one thing. Do me a favor and pay for this man's drink. And with that, you see his eyes kind of like shoot back into his head, and he kind of stumbles forward, and he's looking at the four of you. What? Why am I here?
That was such a great story. You have to tell us another one. In fact, why don't we actually do it outside on the way, and you can explain everything again, and we can, if you don't remember what was said earlier, you can, never mind. And I'll get up and kind of like urge him to come with us.
Huh? Yeah.
I think you drank too much today, friend. Best walk it off.
When did I drink? Why am I in Morbos? Oh man, I can't afford here. Oh, geez.
Don't worry, the Quarren's got us covered. I'll just pat Sam on the back again.
Oh, hey, thanks. You? That's real great of you.
Think nothing of it. I'm sure my friend here will happily share his Corellian whiskey with you.
Unfortunately, the glass is all empty, so we'll have to order more. Should I call the bartender over?
No.
Alas, I spent all of my credits on the last round.
Listen. I got a bit of a headache. Maybe I should just go. Well, I guess it was nice meeting you guys.
What is your name again?
Zach. I'm a dock worker over at the warehouse district. Anyway, listen. Again, I hope I didn't cause no offense or nothing. If I ever see you guys around, I'll definitely help you guys out. But well, thanks. And
That's fine. You didn't do anything embarrassing. Go and sleep it off.
Oh, great. Thanks. And he kind of stumbles off a little dizzy, and he walks out of the cantina. And of course, that leaves you gentlemen standing in the cantina.
I'm going to check my watch, effectively my comlink or whatever, to see how long we've got left before we have to be on this skiff.
Sure. It seems like you got about just like a couple hours. You guys notice that you can easily you can either sit, talk to Morbo, ask her questions. She'll happily bring you a meal, like a fresh hot meal that you guys can actually eat.
Does she have any? Is there like any private rooms or a VIP area that we could adjourn to?
You notice that the bar itself is actually very quiet. There are a few um, kind of like off rooms, but they seem to be reserved rooms. And upon asking her, she politely explains that a lot of these are long-term rentals by either corporations, executives, and she doesn't allow anyone else in there but them.
So we'll stay here basically at this table.
You can stay at the table. You can sit at the bar. You can even leave the bar, walk around. Pretty much do.
Mercer, sit down, sit down. We still got time left before we go. Mercer's still standing up, right?
Yeah, would have gotten up to actually follow him out. But since kind of barely got to the door, I'll kind of follow back into place as if following orders of some sort.
And Kojima will look at. Go ahead.
All right, we could use them. We don't know what their mission is, but what if we reverted their mission to actually hit the station before and after of a load payoff?
You mean the warehouse that he was talking about?
Yeah, and I'll kind of like lower my voice more in a sense so that they can kind of get a hint. What if find out what their orders are and see if we can change it to actually help them by giving them. Yeah, we can't speak here. And I'll quickly get up and go out, and I'll kind of get a quick eye with the bartender and do a quick nod, and then walk out.
And she nods back, and she looks at Celine and just kind of nods her head in the "don't forget the thing" with the thing and the thing. And then she quickly goes back to making more drinks and refilling servers' trays and getting them out to clients.
Kojima will look at the now empty decanter of Corellian whiskey with a wistful sigh, and then he'll stand up and follow Mercer out. He's coming.
Once everybody's kind of out, kind of give a quick plan like how we could use them, and the way if we could give them Bacta as payoff for helping us to do this heist.
Sorry, who? Giving who back to?
The Black Claw? Is that what I wrote?
The
Black Claws want explosives. They don't want Bacta.
No. Well, they're with the explosives. They're going to help us do another job on the side, because they're basically rebellious to both sides. So why not help us get some Bacta for themselves for their medical reasons, as we take some as well.
I will say, sorry, and I apologize for interrupting, but I will say that the ecology of the planet is such that Vratics, they create Bacta, and they create Bacta by using basically a fungus found in nature and some of their own enzymes to create Bacta.
Oh, we're saying we're getting it to the bugs themselves. Okay, I thought it was someone else you were saying. Never mind. That's kind of useless.
I mean, you could, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." I think my cousin Jeff made this one.
Well,
Oh.
if we can't get in and get out quietly for whatever reason, mainly because we don't usually do anything quietly when we're on a mission, maybe
True.
we can use the Black Claws in exchange for explosives. That idea is not bad at all.
In all
They could
fairness,
help us in some way.
we've only done one mission.
We were very loud on that mission.
Yes, it definitely wasn't a quiet mission.
So if we cannot go in quickly and quietly, then perhaps these Black Claws can help us go in or come out a little louder.
Perhaps
And it'll look like they did it, not rebels did it.
perhaps let them offer their own price.
Just a tip, if we tried to avoid the use of explosives, we probably would be much quieter.
Probably a good point there.
Where's the glory in that?
Glory,
Sailing.
quiet, they don't go in hand to hand.
That's right. Salen, what was he talking about? Some abilities. What did he mean by that?
Beats me.
You're a good swimmer, I know that, but what
He's a
other
corner.
abilities do you have?
He's a Quarren.
Uh,
They have a lot of abilities.
I'm a fairly good pilot.
Well, I know you got that creepy ink thing that you do in the water. I heard about that. Varric was cleaning that out of his black clothes all day. There's
Well, the
nothing
thing
else
about,
you're referring to?
The handy thing about Quarren ink, your basic everyday average Quarren ink is, well, it's black. And the thing about Varric's wardrobe, the predominant colour that his wardrobe consists of is, well, it's black.
Yeah, but your ink's a shiny black. He doesn't want to be shiny. He likes matte black.
Well, that's true. It does have a certain iridescence to it, I'll give you that.
And speaking of Varric, he also mentioned something about assassins. What was he talking about?
I'm afraid that's a bit outside my area of expertise.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at Varric at that point. Some
And
of
he's
those
just looking
agents
back
are.
at you from beneath his hood.
Kojo will just sigh. Silent treatment again.
So are we going to get these explosives to these Varric then, or what?
Gladly.
That's the plan. We have to. This is only one part. We have to do this to show who we are. At the
We
same
need to
time,
establish our credentials.
maybe a situation will present itself that we can get the Bacta in some fashion. But as of right now, we follow the plan as she wants.
Yeah,
Should we do some recon on the skiff area?
Certainly wouldn't hurt.
If we do that, these people are skittish. And they may already be reconning the area themselves. And if they see something out of abnormality, then it might be a no-go. Let's not jeopardize anything out of the ordinary of what was said to us. We have to believe. If we want to present ourselves, we have to actually trust them. When you get
What are we going to do for the next 2 hours then?
We're doing it.
I don't know about you lot. I'm planning on getting some sleep. I feel like I've been awake for years.
Well, if you're sleeping, that means I don't have any more money. So I guess I'm going to be chilling out for a while too. Let's rest and prepare for the mission then.
That's it. Better we all go in fully rested and with our full faculties than we go in tired and we risk making a slip up because of it. You've already seen the mistake I very nearly made on board the shuttle with the landing just because of tiredness and all the exertion.
So is it safe to say that you gentlemen will probably go back into the bar and rest up there, or do you wish to go back to the ship and rest up?
Well, if we can go to the ship, I would prefer going back to the ship.
Yeah, we'll go to the ship because the sailor wants to sleep, so we can't really do that in the bar.
I don't want to be seen too much.
That's fair. So you guys go back to the ship, and you kind of step through the airlock. It's like a little tiny like clear airlock. You step through. Both of the doors are kind of like shut. You kind of just feel this like hit of this almost like antibacterial kind of mist as you're going back to your ship, and then the inner doors open up, and you're inside now the bubble that contains the shuttle.
I'll give the shuttle a quick once over just to make sure it's not been interfered with. And then assuming it's all still sealed and I can't see any signs of tampering, I'm just going to sort of lie myself down on one of the bunks, sat my comlink till I wake me up with like half an hour to spare, and then...
Okay. And would the rest of you be napping as well, or at least taking...
Nope. I will be working on the Stormtrooper armor and actually configuring it more for my size. So if, unless it's impossible, then I'll do it from one of them. And actually, probably more communication. You're working with the helmet and getting comms up and going for other reasons too.
Okay. Make me a mechanics.
Yeah.
make me mechanics difficulty 3 check with the.
All right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use Destiny because I don't have the points, so you have to flip it for me. Maybe that'll help.
Sure.
And I will use spare parts.
Nice.
Okay. So we have 2 threat with 4 successes.
That's really good. With that roll, you tell me what you've done to the armor. You've succeeded in retrofitting it either for yourself or for someone else. But I will tell you what the threats are.
Yeah. Let's see. I got the communication basically for ourselves and to be able to communicate with, or actually just hear with them, with any close by Imperials on the couple frequencies, as well as basically attaching it to the armor itself to be able to configure it instead of through the helmet each time I take it off. So, and I mean, depending on the size, would it still be a silhouette like, I don't want to say what, 1.5? Would it fit me? Would it fit more Kajimal? Someone smaller?
You find that it would fit you.
Okay.
With that kind of a roll, you definitely find that the armor does fit. It's a little snug, but for the most part, you kind of like twist your shoulders and your arms, and you're like, yeah, you know what, this.
Okay. Because it has to be nice and snug, and that's for one thing. All right. So we'll say we'll set the first one up for me.
Okay. And as far as the threats, as you were repairing it and fixing it, you did find that resizing the armor has left it thin in some spots. So I believe lamellar armor has a soak value of 5. Is that correct?
Right, something like that. I have to look it up.
High for armor.
I think it's only
a 2. I think 2 is the maximum armor, isn't it?
Armor. That's not soak.
Yeah, I'm talking about soak.
I'll let you know right now. I'll open up the program.
Needless to say, whatever soak value it is, you'll subtract 1 from the soak value.
Okay, so it doesn't change, in other words, because of my possibility to bring it up by 1.
Exactly. Like so even if even if the armor has a higher soak value, you just subtract 1 from it. Other than that, it's actually not bad. But you did have to thin the plates out just a little bit and kind of really kind of fiddle with it.
Yeah, it's got a soak of 2, so it has a soak of 1, 0 defense, and
Well, like
so
I said, just the soak value.
Yeah, so
Just,
now it's soaked. Now it's soaked 1, so now it's soaked 2 again. All right.
yeah. So nothing. Yeah. Not again. So that works. And as far as the communication device, it seems to be working okay. And there doesn't seem to be too much wrong with it, except there's a fair bit of static that keeps kicking in every so often. You're not sure if it's the magnetic poles of the planet, or if maybe that the frequency that these are rated for seems to be for Bestine and not for here. But every so often, you get a really like powerful static kind of hit to your ear when you put it up to your ear, and that does seem to kind of like affect you because you seem to move, and you're not sure if that, although you can every so often make out just a little bit of talking coming from somewhere.
Okay.
During
be my
the
time spent.
during the the break time while Salem is sleeping and Mercer's working on his gear, Kojamal will go to a quiet part of the ship, and he's not going to sleep, but he's going to open up the leather pouch around his neck, and he's going to pull out an unusual type of metal, and it's going to be shaped like a sphere, and it's going to be carved metal, and it's going to be carved to resemble a moon. But in this case, there's also clouds, thunder clouds, carved around the moon as well, like an atmosphere. And he's gonna just kneel down, and he's gonna close his eyes, holding this sphere in his hands, and he's gonna send his pheromones into the sphere in the way that the Weequay pray. And he's gonna pray to Amshak through the sphere. And this device is known as a Quay in Weequay culture, and it's a religious item that they have. And he's going to be holding this in his cupped hands like this. He's going to be praying, and he's going to be getting trying to connect with his prayers to Amshak. And as he does so, the clouds start to move. Even though they're carved, they start to move around like an atmosphere is moving on the sphere. And when they do, then the clouds will stop. And Kojamal will just nod his head and sigh very calmly, and then open his eyes and put it back into his pouch again around his neck.
That's pretty freaking awesome. Not gonna lie to you, that's really cool.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. And Varric, what does Varric do during this rest time?
Just that he'll take the opportunity to find some peace and calm, enter light meditation, then get then light sleep for as long as he can.
Cool. The time seems to pass far too quickly, even for those who are either sleeping, working on armor, praying, or even meditating. The alarm wakes you quickly, Celine, and you seem, although you feel a little bit better rested, but it just doesn't quite seem like enough. And it is now time for you guys to go to the skiff.
I'll switch the alarm off and I'll say, right, looks like it's time to go then. Let's head over to that skiff.
Roger, I'm ready, and we'll gear up with anything we might need. Weapons, armor.
And mostly for what you guys were carrying was pretty much most of what you had, with the exception of, I think, one blaster rifle that Mercer left behind, and I believe, and of course the force pike that Varric had left on the ship.
And this time it will be going with probably in some kind of bag instead of open out.
Sure. You do have a small, another small duffel bag,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm assuming you can place those in there. Varric, your force pike is a little too big to fit inside this duffel bag. So whether or not you wish to carry it with you is entirely up to you.
I think again I'll just stick with the vibro knife and vibro knucklers.
Okay. Okay. So it was once again, the back seems to slowly descend into a ramp, and you gentlemen depart and head down. You notice that the path that you take towards the skiff takes a slightly different turn. This time you turn left, and as you begin walking, you kind of notice what looks almost to be like I guess some kind of a parking area where quite a few skiffs are parked. You see basically about 3 or 4 skiffs around, and you see nothing else.
And we know already which one is ours, right? Which one we're supposed to be taking?
You know that this is the area where the skiffs, where you're supposed to get them.
Okay.
And right now, like you see some skiffs. You see about 3 or 4 of them, and they're the standard ones like you saw in Return of the Jedi. Like hovering over Tatooine, like they're floating there. They're not massive. They basically look like about the size of, let's say, a good long speedboat, basically. And you see like it does have some high walls, some railings along the sides, and each one has a ramp that is fully extended down. One of them, however, seems to have an Imperial sign. Another one seems to have what looks like a triangle bisected with the head of a mantis or some type of an insect, and the other one seems to just have a black dot, like a large black circle on one side of it.
Do any of these skiffs look familiar to me from the vision I had earlier on?
All 3 skiffs look exactly the same, with the exception of whatever's painted on the side of it.
I presume I don't recall seeing any sort of symbols painted on the one I saw in the vision that I was looking down on.
Yeah.
Well, did Marble tell us which one is ours? Or should we just pick one? Or should we open them all up and see if there's any explosives inside? She wasn't very helpful with this part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to have a cursory look across, see if we can see if there's any of them that are particularly sort of more heavily loaded than the others.
Okay. That being said, now it's time I get out my magical. So, if anyone would like to make a perception check, it would be a difficulty of 3, and given the fact that not many of you use skiffs, I'm going to use a dark side destiny point.
Oh, there it is.
Because reasons.
What was the difficulty? 3 with one of them as red.
3 with, or no, it would be 2 with one of them as red. And that'll be for whoever wants to make, like, one person will have to use the dark side destiny point. So whoever wants to make it.
I'll use it.
Yes, you do. So that's, okay, so one
Success and 2 advantages.
All right. Mercer, you can't really see it. You just see 3 skiffs, and you're getting frustrated. The sun is beating down your lamellar armor, and you're getting hot and uncomfortable. Kojamal,
Oh, I wasn't even bringing the armor, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Just the weapon.
I apologize. I thought you had put it on.
Nope. I was just getting it
Okay.
ready, fixing it.
Okay. My bad. My bad.
No worries. No worries.
But Kojamal, you do notice that one skiff seems to be hanging a bit lower than the others. Two of them are at about the same height. One of them seems to be like hovering a bit lower than the others.
Which marking does it have?
It has a black dot.
So I'll point over there, just not like this, but just kind of gesture over there to indicate which one, and I'll say the one with the black dot is more heavily loaded than the others. This might be what we're looking for.
Let's go and have a closer look. So try as surreptitiously as we can, try and sort of meander over in that direction.
Okay. You begin to walk over to the skiffs, and you hear a voice behind you. You there? What are you four doing here?
I'll turn around and look at who it is.
You see four stormtroopers standing there, and they are carrying standard blaster rifles. One of them looks like he's carrying a light repeating blaster. What did I just say? What are you four doing there?
We're just here to pick up some fruit for one of the local whiskey manufacturers.
Oh, really? You having trouble figuring out which one is yours?
Well, she said that she'd left it in her skiff. Unfortunately, she'd had a little bit to drink beforehand, probably sampling the fruits of her own endeavours, and neglected to tell us which exactly her skiff was. It'll be the one with a load of fruit on it. We're just having a quick look.
Make me a deception check. It'll be a difficulty of 2.
Flip the point. Flip the point.
Oh yeah, best believe I'm flipping that point.
No problem.
1 advantage.
Okay. The stormtrooper kind of tilts his head a bit, and I'm not sure who you're talking about, but wait, who is this for?
I'm going to say, and I'm going to give the name of one of the other non-Morbo establishments that I saw on the list originally.
All right. Ah, Chazka, huh?
Yes, it told us not to stand about too long. You know, the fruit spoils quickly, you know, with the heat and everything. And anyway, if we don't get it back to him soon, well, we don't get paid.
All right. Cool. Looks for a second. All right. But hurry up. Let's go. Move on. And you see the four of them move on. And now you are free to do whatever it is you would like to do.
Okay, continue over to the skiff we were originally going to look at and have a closer inspection, make sure it is the one that we're after.
Sure. As you go up the gantry you don't really notice any openings for for compartments. Everything seems like it's pretty flat, and basically there's just the kind of the steering or the pilot area in the front kind of bow of the vessel, and then just seating areas around, and then the railing. That's pretty much it.
Is the sort of, I suppose, the sort of driver's compartment open, or is it sealed?
It's generally an open compartment. It's almost like basically like a console, and then you have like basically a flight stick, or at least a skiff stick, I guess would be the best way to look at it. And then other than that, everything looks completely bare bones. Like looks like a standard
Okay.
skiff.
I'm going to jump in the driver's seat and start sort of like familiarising myself with the controls, and then I'm going to say,
Okay.
right, while I get this baby started up, check that there's check that the cargo's in the back.
Yeah, so if it's covered in some kind of tarp or whatever, Kojima will just lift up the edge of the tarp, just take a look at what's back there. He doesn't want to open up the whole thing.
There's actually no tarp at all. It doesn't seem like this thing has anything, any sort of exterior or any kind of obvious, like,
Obstruction.
thank you, words and stuff, right?
So where is the cargo exactly? Just like in crates, or just sitting
man.
crates, just sitting on the skiff?
Hey man, I'm the GM. I don't know. You tell me. You're gonna have to figure it outside. It's gotta be around here somewhere. So that's all I gotta say.
Check if there's any hidden compartments. Smugglers sometimes use that sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess I'll do a perception roll then. Try to look for where is the cargo.
Right on. So for that, by all means, do a perception check. It's a difficulty of 4.
Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna flip then. That's some seriously hidden cargo. Okay. All right, wish me luck. Okay, so I found some cargo and something bad about that cargo.
Okay. Upon looking around and looking at the bench seating, you notice that the bench seating is actually like sitting on top of kind of a square, like these large square boxes, but that look like they're part of the skiff itself. But you notice that there seems to be a strange, like little panel, like a very thin line, and as you kind of open up the panel, you actually see like several thermal detonators, grenades, all kinds of explosives inside. But it seems like they've been jostled around, and right now you cannot tell if one of them is armed and ready to explode.
Praise Amshak. This is a holiday right
Good
here.
enough for me.
So you back up, you back the skiff up, and you begin to pilot it out of the city itself. Following the instructions, what I'm going to need you to do is to make me first one piloting land vessel roll.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
The difficulty of this is going to be a 3.
3 successes and 2 threat.
Okay. Now I would like you to make me another one. This time is a difficulty of 4.
1 advantage.
Nice. Scary when the GM's like, make me the rules. Hang on, I gotta write stuff down. Hang on a second.
Just says nice, and that's it.
And then make me one more. This time also a difficulty of 3.
Okay, I'm flipping 1. 1 success and 3 threats.
It's good you flipped that. It could have been much worse.
Possibly. Okay. As you begin to navigate through the forest, you see it's almost like you can visualize both from what the data pad is reading and how you are moving around. You begin very quickly and very easily. You feel that this is almost like a second nature to you, piloting this vessel, and you just getting a feel for the land. You know, you're zipping along through 2 trees and then up and over a massive fallen tree, and then down through around you. For the rest of you, you can see the local flora, these large canopied, beautiful exotic trees with this gorgeous wood, just permeating and almost in some cases blocking out the sun as you fly into what looks like tunnels created simply by foliage.
As
Large.
this is going on, I'm just going to shout back over my shoulder to them, still keeping my eye out to the front. I was going to say, just keep an eye out on the skies. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Cool John will be a little bit confused, but okay, all right. So he'll just be looking around at the treetops or whatever he can see.
Okay. Other than like thick canopies, you don't see very much. You basically, you can barely see out of it. Whatever local fauna you see seems to be what looks to be like almost like praying mantises, but they're like the size of Rottweilers, and you see them like they chitter, just sitting on the ground or like clinging to these large trees, and they seem to be kind of like fearful of you as you fly by. A lot of them like seem to duck out, and then a few of the braver ones kind of they poke their segmented-eyed heads out and as you zip by.
Okay, as we're going along, since you said I'd almost got the sort of top-down view and the sort of data pad view, I'm going to be looking at my surroundings as I'm driving along, looking for anything that I recognise from the weird sort of vision I had earlier.
You kind of vaguely remember 2 crossed fallen trees that had seemed to had fallen against each other and have fallen so old that they're actually beginning to kind of rot together, creating this beautiful natural wooden arch. As you zip through it, you vaguely remember the same skiff zipping through it.
Okay, I'm going to roughly estimate the point at which, in my vision, the creature or whatever it was, the viewpoint I was seeing from, started to come down towards the skiff as though it was going to attack it. With the idea that if I think we're getting to that moment, I'm just going to say to them guys, like, just keep eyes up, with the hope that we won't be taken by surprise, because I've mainly got to concentrate on piloting the skiff.
Of course.
Jamal's still looking up. He's just thinking, like, just as a general precaution. He doesn't know anything about the vision. Just he thinks, Salen's worried about some aerial attack of some kind, or spotters or something like that. So he's just generally being alert for what's above them.
And as you're looking up, you still see nothing. And Celine, from the vision you had, you remember that the skiff was just cresting that archway as your vision was streaking down towards the skiff.
Okay, as we're heading towards that sort of crest and we're reaching the point where I remember the creature coming down from my vision, I'm just going to say I've got this feeling that we're about to be attacked any minute, and then as we hit that sort of ridge, I'll say now, and I'll risk a quick glance up and then glance back at the focusing in front of me.
Celine, I don't know what you've been drinking, but I didn't think you drank that much. There is nothing out there. And I'm looking up and looking around. My rifle's ready.
I think he needs more sleep. He didn't get enough sleep in 2 hours. I don't know how long Quarrens sleep, but I guess it's more than 2 hours.
And sure enough, you see nothing. And as you crest the natural arch, it kind of drops pretty quickly down into almost kind of like a foliage-encrusted deep gully that is large enough for the skiff, but you seem to be crawling along through there, and the canopies of the trees these very low trees are almost providing it into a tunnel as you are zipping through, dodging left and right. At one point, you almost skip off a rock, and it seems to have hit it, and it jars it. And Kojamal, especially viewing all the amount of explosives laden into at least one of these benches that some of you guys are even sitting on, you know that that's not good, especially with the thermal detonators being as sensitive as they are.
Hey, take it easy. Slow down a little bit here. We got some precious cargo here, if you don't recall.
I'll sort of look back a bit over my shoulder and I'll be like, did I ever tell you about the time when Varric threw one of those at me?
Well, there's more than one here, so let's not throw the skiff at anything, is all I'm saying.
That's a good point. It's difficult to see the obstacles, though. Some of them are below the waterline.
Feel free
I'm
to
doing
slow
the best
down.
I can.
Yeah.
And you shoot along the gully very low. And for the hell of it, I'd like Varric, Kojamal, and Mercer all to make me difficulty 4 perception checks, only if you feel like you think your character would be looking out for any sort of danger at all.
I'm looking up primarily because that's what Sam told me to do. So if whatever we're looking for would be above us, then I would be looking. If whatever we're looking for is from some other direction, I wouldn't be looking at it.
Okay.
So I'll roll based on up.
All right.
Yeah.
I would be on the very big lookout, especially if he was having this filling, and I definitely would. And I'd probably be looking harder, so I'm going to use a destiny point, just because if he's got this feeling, I have to go with his gut.
Okay. So you're also going to be focusing on looking up.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking up, out,
Looking around, yeah.
I mean, everything. It's not just...
Okay.
I got a failure and an advantage looking up.
Okay. So, Mercer, as you are looking up and you still don't really see anything, out of the corner of your eye, you barely make out some sort of a shape moving just in the near a copse of trees as you are starting to shoot by in the skiff. You couldn't really make it out. It was lean. It definitely wasn't one of those like kind of praying mantis-like creatures. This was tall. This was very tall, very lean, and it almost seemed to have melded into the bush as soon as you got kind of close enough.
Watch it, or 9 o'clock, something in the bushes. And I'll kind of aim my gun more on, depends on what Celine's, where he's at on the skiff, which would be, it would be normal driver's side American. It'll be kind of like looking over his left shoulder and up and beyond. So I won't be going there and towards him.
As soon as Mercer says 9 o'clock, Kojamal's going to pull his blaster out. As soon as he has confirmation that there's something out there.
Okay. And Varric? You're just kind of chilling, like a villain? But you're not a villain?
But he is.
Yeah, pretty much. Once everybody's been on high alert, I will have my vibro knife out and pressed against my forearm, and basically just kind of crouch down, trying to keep my balances and keep a lookout, even though I haven't seemed to notice anything.
Cool. Celine, as you are driving ahead, eventually you see like kind of a small red dot, which you can only assume on the data pad means that that's supposed to be you, and then it's gradually going forward up the data pad, higher, as you are getting closer and closer, and you come upon, as you kind of move a little bit up and out of the gully, you come to this clearing, and it tells you that you have arrived at your destination, all GPS-y like.
Right, this is where we're supposed to be, and I'll slowly sort of ease off on the throttle and start slowing us down.
Okay. So as you slow down and even stop, the quiet gives way to the sound of insects. A lot of insects. Actually, like a lot of insects. You think it's from the praying mantises, those praying mantis creatures, but you didn't really get a good sound, a good listen to them as you were like zipping along on this skiff, and the sound of the skiff and the wind rushing through your ears. It made it really, really difficult to hear them. But when you stop and you suddenly hear this chittering, it's getting louder and louder, and more of it.
I'm just going to draw out my blaster pistol and have it ready on the seat next to me in case I need to lift it and do some shooting.
Mercer, what did you see? Where is it now?
I don't know what I saw. It was tall, thin.
Some giant bug is coming at us?
I don't know. I don't know what I saw. I just know I saw something.
And at that moment, you hear the cocking, or at least the readying, of blaster rifles. A lot of blaster rifles. And you see the front ends of these rifles beginning to meld out of the bush and come out, and attached to these blaster rifles are many, many Vratics. But these Vratics are different, whereas most of the creatures that you've seen, at least walking around, have had this like beautiful, almost emerald green, almost metallic looking carapace over their bodies. All of these creatures, their carapaces are black, but not just black, matte black. There's no shine to these things at all, and they're all surrounding the skiff, and they are holding the blasters up to all of you, and you count at least about 30 to 35 of these creatures. One of them, a tall one with kind of what looks to be like a red painted slash going across its face and on one mandible, leaps. Even though this thing is your skiff is hovering still about 6 feet off the ground, it easily leaps the 10 to 15 feet up onto the bow of the skiff, holding 2 heavy blaster pistols. You hear it clicking, its antennae waving, and the 4 of you hear a voice in your mind. Who are you? You are smuggler. You are bad. Maybe you work for Empire. You steal skiff. We shoot you.
I'm going to point at my face and go, do I look like I work for the Empire?
Seems we've made the right party.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We don't work for the Empire. We're the ones that were sent to meet you.
We were sent to bring you some supplies. And I'll gesture at the benches.
Yeah, so Kul Jamal will open up the bench to reveal the cargo inside.
Okay, as you go to open it up,
Slowly. I'll slowly go to open up the cargo.
he's still pointing. He's still pointing both of them, even like turning on the side, gangster style. He is ready to pop a couple of holes in you, or caps in your ass, or something like that. At least that's what the kids are saying. And he's got both blaster pistols pointed directly at you. If you step out of line just a microcosm, you are probably getting 2 blaster pistol shots right in the chest.
Okay, okay. Look for yourself. If you want to look for yourself, go right ahead. But this is for you.
You hear clicking, and another Vratix like leaps up onto it. Two of his arms are holding. He's holding the blaster rifle right at you, Kojamal. And he kind of, as he's holding it with one hand, he kind of opens it up. He turns to what looks like the leader, and more clicking. And again, the voice. Who sent you?
Compliments of Morbo.
And he stops for a second. He kind of. Morbo. Yes, your friend. This good. I, Zikta. Head, Black Claw. You done very well. Thank you. Maybe we perhaps make it to you in thanks for this. And he kind of waves his hand, and several of the Vratix come with small like containers of Bacta, but something that can be actually readily used if you ever got injured. They're just canisters about, I'd say about yay big, maybe like 16 inches high by about 8 inches in diameter. So let's say it carries enough Bacta to at least either ingest or put on wounds or put on dressings to aid in your in any injuries that you sustain.
Well, without our medic, this will definitely come in handy.
Now, we take, and like 5 more Vratix jump on and begin grabbing the explosives carefully, actually removing the benches themselves, carefully lifting them down, and just as soon as they walk into the bush, it's like gone, and they're like ghosts. They just seem to start melding away, and each one of them begins to meld away back into the bush until you're only left with the leader.
Koljamal watches the cargo disappear into the bush with an undisguised look of longing on his face as a giant load of explosives just disappear from his life.
And the leader looks at you. Now, business done.
Can we add a continuation of a business? Since we're friends, I want to keep it that way. You don't like the Empire?
No.
I hate them.
Yes, hate.
Hate is more than dislike.
Yes, hate.
I
bad.
want to hurt them where it hurts them most. I want to be able to get in and our crew to get some of the Bacta away from them, to get some from their clutches. I think you can...
Steal Bacta?
Yeah. Preferably from the Zoltan Corporation.
Zoltan, Zukfra, all bad, all bad. They take away from us. We make Bacta, but they take from us.
Yes, and we want to take it away from them.
And give it back to you instead.
Take down Zukfra, take down Zoltan.
That would be the ultimate prize.
Zoltan first.
We've been doing so. Take too long doing for many cycle. But we can destroy. Yes, destroy them. Blow up Bacta. Make big explosion. Hmm. You make good plan, I think. Then you go back to Morba. I talk to Morba. Then
One
we have plan.
slight problem.
Bah.
A lot of people in this galaxy rely on that Bacta. We can't
Yes.
destroy it all.
Bacta important. Bacta take over Koto. Koto no more. Bacta now important.
Yes, there's a lot of people out there who are fighting the Empire like we're doing, like you've been doing, and they need that back to carry on that fight.
We would like to remove the Bacta, but then we can destroy after the Bacta is safe.
After all, if we simply take the Bacta from them, we're just taking something away from them. If we take it from them and we give it to their other enemies, we'll damage them even more.
And then you can destroy.
So, no blow up Bacta. Steal Bacta.
That's the plan.
Steal first.
And you see his antenna move a little. Yes, good plan. I think I talk to other Black Claw. You go
Yes,
back talk. You go back talk to
If we
Morbo.
steal the Bacta, and then we make the explosion so they think it's been destroyed, we can then give it to their enemies and we'll strike a double blow against the Empire.
Steal, then destroy. That's the plan.
Okay.
We steal, you destroy.
Yes. I talk to Morbo. You go back talk to Morbo. Then we talk. Then we steal. Then big boom. Everybody
Boom.
like big boom.
Kazuma, give me your communication device.
What? All I heard was big boom. Sorry, what?
Give me your communication device, please.
Okay, sure. I'll take it out and hand it to Mercer.
You know how to work one of these? And I'll.
You never deal with Vratex. It is communication. I understand. I work. I know what to do.
Perfect.
You'll be able to use it to contact us.
Directly.
We do not do that. Never over communication. We talk to Morbo. Morbo, talk to you.
Okay.
Morbo, talk to Rebellion.
Very well.
Understood.
I'll give it back to Kazuma.
Fair enough.
Very well.
Good. Business done. We... What manlings say, pink skin. Be in touch. Yes. And he leaps straight off of the skiff right into the bush and gone. Like even the foliage itself barely moves. You can tell that these guys are definitely good at being very quiet and very sneaky. And they disappear.
I'm going to spin the skiff around so we can start heading back the way we came.
Okay.
Still sort of keeping
Kozubal
an eye
rubs his
out
hands
above.
together. Oh, I'm really looking forward to seeing their idea of a big boom.
And
I know. After we steal the Bacta, don't worry. I got my priorities straight.
that's probably for the best. As you begin slowly backing down, you see the canopy once again back down into the gully and passing through. You pass through the low hanging area, back up, and then as soon as you go through the natural arch, you hear what seems to be kind of like this like high piercing screech.
I'm just going to shout, "Weapons hot!"
And you have just enough time to look up and see a massive, with at least a 24-foot wingspan, a bird of complete blood red everywhere, screeching at the top of his lungs, lunging down right for the skiff. That's where we're going to end the session today.
Awesome.
So, oh, you bastard! Yeah, no, that's where we're going to end the session today.
I was ready for it.
It's like, wait. Oh.
Wait for it. There it is.
And I think that it is a good place to stop, because we can start with a really, really cool beginning, or right into combat, right off the bat, or a nice chase scene. Because everyone likes chase scenes. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That was excellent.
And
Very much.
it's been my absolute pleasure to run this session of Heart of the Empire for you guys. Once again, unsurprisingly, you most certainly did not disappoint with your incredible roleplay and character immersion, and for that, artistes, one and all. And I definitely thank you all. So, for all of those who will be able to watch, for some reason, whenever I clicked on the YouTube part, it keeps saying the stream hasn't started yet.
Yeah, it's there's some buffering problems with YouTube at the minute. Mine did exactly the same earlier. It will show up a bit later on.
Oh, okay, excellent. So hopefully this will actually buffer, and this will be a thing. If not, hey, it was a great session we had. And
what happens on Thyfera stays on Thyfera.
Exactly. Little known fact, Thyfera is the Las Vegas of this part of the galaxy.
Yeah, no. We will not speak of what happened at Morbo's place.
No, but there was this thing with 52, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining in, who has joined in, and I am more than happy to do outros. So first, on my left, Dennis, if you could take it away.
I'm Dennis. I played Varric. It's nice to have Kojimo back among the ranks, and hopefully at some point our other member will be able to as well. No channels to plug, just the Tides of Change. Pretty much will fulfill all your Star Wars role-playing needs. Thank you to my GM and my fellow players. Had a great time.
Right on. And, of course, next up, we have Devin, Kojimo himself.
Yeah, so I'm Dev from the YouTube channel With the Dice, and just want to thank everyone for watching, and thank my fellow players and excellent GM. And yeah, it's great to be back. Looking forward to the next one.
Right on. Gabe, take it away, bud.
I want to thank everybody who's going to watch this episode. It's been fun. It has been a nice slide of change, pace, and a little bit of intrigue. I want to thank everybody here who is actually a part of it and part of Team Havoc. Now that we have working on a name for the group, and so I want to thank everybody.
Right on. Last but most certainly not least, John.
I've been John from Red Dice Diaries, playing Celine Naval, the Quarren pilot. Just to echo what everyone said, it's nice to have people together again and see everyone getting into the game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Although I think we could have gone for a slightly snappier name for the team, like Team Shouty Shouty Bang Bang, but I suppose we'll have to settle for Team Havoc. But in all seriousness, no, that's all good. I'm really loving how the team sort of gelling together and falling into the roles. That we all seem to click into fulfilling particular roles when we're going on a mission. Like everyone knows their place in the team, so that's been really great to see.
It really has, and you guys have definitely not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. You've been wonderful, and I definitely can't wait for the next session. So, for all of those who I guess will watch this later, this is Mike, and I just want to thank you all for showing up, and feel free to like and subscribe and do all the things, and like and subscribe and do all those guys' things, and we will see you in the next session of Heart of the Empire.